Hey everybody. I'm just gonna do a really quick update on my latest video. There was a couple of things I forgot to mention, and I think basically that same night of the video that I made, something else happened. So I was gonna go over that real quick. For starters, here's my little girl. Hi. She's awake, so she may start crying out of nowhere, and if that happens, then this video is just shot to hell because I can't use it. So we're gonna hopefully she'll be a good girl and she'll just stare at me this entire time. So, some of the things I forgot to mention, I don't know if I'll just say it, I'll go back over it if I make a more, I guess, they call it story time video about what happened back in January, because a lot happened, and the original video that I had made of it was like 20-something minutes long, which is very long, and it's really not worth having to go over and repeat myself for that length of time if no one cares to watch it. So, one of the things I forgot to mention, when I came back home and I started to hear noises again, obviously some of that was her. She's very noisy. She's a very noisy baby. But there was one time when I was working out, and she's sitting here. This is where she sits when I work out, and I'm in front of the TV, which is like right here. You can't see it, but it's right here. So I'm in the same room, but my back is to her, and I hear a noise, and I'm assuming that it's her, but it sounded like a little girl said help. It literally sounded like the word help coming out of the mouth of a child, and not obviously this young of a child that can speak. And I turn around, and she's awake, but she makes noises even when she's asleep, so it doesn't really mean anything. And I just look at her and go, "Are you serious?" She's only 2 months old, so she shouldn't be saying anything anyways besides bleh. She really does that. She just likes to make little noises, you know? Anyways, so I hear noises like that a little bit now too, I guess she's just making noises enough where it sounds like she's saying words, but kind of creepy words, because I've heard noises or people say things in here, sometimes I'll be in here and I'll be pumping, and it'll sound like the TV's on, in the bedroom, right back here, and obviously there's no TV on, there's no one in there, I'm by myself, and I'm like, this is creepy. So when I heard that, I don't know if it's her or if something's trying to make me think that it's her. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if there's more than one spirit or entity in this house, and it's just making me think that there's different spirits, or I don't know. Okay. Anyways, now, the night that I made this video, it actually took me 3 days to post that video because I had used my phone. It's upside down. I had used my phone, and every single time I tried to upload it, it either it froze or it crashed. It was just a bunch of different stuff, and obviously it takes a longer time for it to upload and set up on the phone. So I would have to let my phone sit there, and it was still just it was very difficult. It took me 3 days to get the thing posted. So, the night that I had made the first video, even though it took me a very long time to actually upload it, I was in here and I was pumping. It was the middle of the night, so actually it wasn't the middle of the night. It was 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock at night, and I have to pump every 2 hours because that's just how I do it. Even throughout the night, I try to do it unless something happens, and I'll go over that too because this is another really weird thing that started to happen only after I got back. But it was 9. I was just doing my thing, and nothing weird as far as I can remember was going on that day. And for example, I don't know if I can show you guys. So there's the that's the bouncer that I was talking about in my last video that had turned on before, and it was actually in that exact same position that night where it is now. That's where it was, and it's right next to the light switch for this room, and it controls the pump and the lamp, which is the only thing I have on in the middle of the night when I pump. I just come in here and I do that. You're so cute. You're so distracting. Stop distracting me. Stop distracting. Anyways, so I get done. It takes me 30 minutes approximately to pump and then clean my stuff and go back to sleep. So 30 minutes pass, so it's 9:30. I do that, turn off the light, and I go to bed. And 2 hours later, my alarm goes off, which is a godsend miracle at this point. And I come back out here to get ready to pump. I come over here, turn on the light, and while I'm doing that, I hear this buzzing noise, and I'm like, what is that buzzing? I'm like, oh shit, I know exactly what that buzzing is. Turn on the light, look right next to me, and that thing is on. It's buzzing, and like it was not on at 9:30, and it wasn't on before 9:30 because I would have heard it. It's very loud, you can tell that it's on, and it's been on like in the past before, and to the point where you would think that the batteries would be dead by now, and I don't know why it's not, but it's on still. So it was on. I had to turn it off, and I rolled my eyes and I kind of like muttered something loud enough for whatever was here to hear me go, this is ridiculous, it needs to stop. And I went to the kitchen. I got my stuff from my pump and I started pumping. And the lights are off in all the other rooms besides here. David is asleep with Skylar. Skylar's also in the bedroom. We're doing co-sleeping, so she's in the bedroom with him. And I start hearing noises in the kitchen, like something is walking around, purposely being loud enough so that I know that it's there. And it freaked me out to the point where I almost called David to wake up. It just, even though it would have really made him mad because we're both like sleep deprived at this point. It's not your fault. It is kind of her fault, but it's okay. But I almost called him out, but I decided not to because about 20 minutes into my session, Skylar woke up and it was time to feed, change her diaper, the whole thing. And so he came out and I told him what was going on. And he just rolled his eyes at me and just said that I was crazy and that can't happen. And I'm like, I realize that stuff like that shouldn't happen, but that doesn't mean that it didn't happen because it did happen. And I'm awake and it's happened more than once, so I know it's not me hallucinating, being sleep deprived. I mean, I understand hallucinating and sleep deprivation and all that stuff. That's not what is happening. Because stuff like this happened before I got pregnant and before I became sleep deprived, and it's happening now. And it's not like it's elevated, it's kind of to the same degree. It's just kind of shifted in its theme, pretty much. So I don't think it's my sleep deprivation. I think it's whatever is still here. It's something else. So another thing that happened was a couple of days afterwards. She does this a lot, so I don't know if it's just normal for like a baby thing. I'm a first time mom, so I don't know. But yesterday, like it kind of like it seemed a little different. Anyway, so yesterday she likes to look over here a lot. I don't know why, but like this is kind of like the one spot where she just stops. Like, she just looks into the nothingness. But she's also the type of baby where like you can hold her and she'll look at you and then she'll look behind you like she's like staring at something like behind you. It's kind of creepy. I don't know if she's actually seeing something. Sometimes she reacts like she sees something and sometimes she's just staring. So I don't know what that is. But yesterday I'm sitting here, or I don't even have to actually be sitting here. I can be doing something, and I'll come in here, and her face is looking up in this corner. She's not doing it now, so obviously there's nothing there. But she will be looking into this corner, and yesterday she did it like constantly, like something was constantly grabbing her attention behind me, and her eyes would get really big, and she'd get really scared, and she'd start crying. And I'm like, look, I don't know, what are you looking at, girl? What is scaring you? I mean, this is very tiny space right here. This is right here is where she's looking at, and there's barely any space here. And obviously, my couch is catty cornered up against the wall, so we have this space in the back. And so she obviously can't turn her head to look back there. But even I get kind of creeped out with the space back there. I'm like, oh, hopefully there's nothing creepy behind me. So she did that, and I to the point where I just started talking out loud for the thing to just leave us alone. And another point, before I had to go out, she had to go get her vaccines yesterday. I felt really bad, but right before we were leaving, I had to change her diaper, so she's on her changing pad on the ground, right next to the window, and she did it again. She started looking towards the window. She got really scared. She started crying again, and I looked over, and the curtains are moving. the curtains are moving, and I don't have the AC on or the heater on because it's like perfect temperature because I have all the curtains closed. So it's like perfect temperature. I didn't need anything on. And the curtains were moving, and there should have been no reason for the curtains to move. I was not close enough to the curtains or the window for that to happen. I don't know what it was. It was really weird. So once again, out loud, I had to just proclaim the thing to leave us alone. And then I even went ahead and I got like my cross because I felt like that's like the only way I feel like truly protected. I don't know what made me go get my cross, but when stuff scares me to that point, I just start reciting the prayers, and I just get my cross. This is the only one I own because I'm spiritual, but I'm non-denominational for the most part. So, and I realized like religious symbols and objects don't work unless you believe in them. But I do believe in this enough to make me feel safe, and for her to feel safe, or for me to feel safe for her, anyways. So I don't know, but I'm like seeing little orbs. I don't know if I'm just seeing orbs or if I'm seeing orbs, if you know what I mean. And then last night, something really weird happened. Had nothing to do with her. And I haven't done this before, and I don't know if this is literally the sleep deprivation again, or if it's something else. Because I felt tired, but I didn't feel tired enough for what happened. So it is, what time was it? It was 4 o'clock. Because I charted down. It was 4 o'clock. I had missed my 12 o'clock alarm, and I forgot to mention what that's all about. But I was a little late, so I'm a little off on my pumping schedule. I'm actually a little off now. I'm supposed to be doing it right now, but I wanted to make this video real quick or I won't get it done. So I was pumping, I wrote it down, and it was at 4:02 when I started. Sitting here, going at it. I have my Kindle on. I'm like going through like Facebook, and all of a sudden my vision gets like very blurry, and I felt tired, but I didn't feel like I was about to pass out. And I blink, and I open up my eyes again, and I'm like, something weird just happened. And so I look at the time. It is 4:59. I'm like, did I seriously just fall asleep sitting up like this? Sitting up. My shoulder is in pain because I'm guessing I was doing this. I don't know why my shoulder would be in pain and not the shoulder, but whatever. So apparently I fell asleep sitting up, and I produce a lot of milk. So especially if it had taken an hour, you would think I'd be overflowing because I've done that before where I was like reading a book, pumping, not paying attention, and then one of my boobs starts overflowing in the bottle. I'm like, oh, Jesus, Lord help us. So, that's happened before, and if this was actually a whole hour that I had. Stop, I'm trying to make a video. So if this was a whole hour that I had been pumping, you would think that obviously there would be some overflowage going on, but there wasn't. In fact, it was like almost it was it was pretty much less than my typical 30-minute session. And this was a whole hour, guys. So that was really weird, and I thought that was very suspicious. I felt like time did something weird. I was like, what do you guys call it? Glitch in the Matrix situation was going on. There was like a lapse of time because I didn't feel like I fell asleep. I did get a little like blurry feeling going on. Like my eyes got really blurry, but I didn't feel like I was about to pass out. And when I woke up, it felt like something was wrong with the time. Because when I checked the time, I was like, there's no way that is the time. There's no way that I could have fallen asleep for that long and not have fallen over, not have let go of my stuff because I have to hold on to them, not to have let those go, for those to not fall, spill over, or even if I did manage to hold on for them to overflow. It was weird. Stop making noises. The house doesn't make noises unless I'm by myself talking about stuff. It's so stupid. At least you're sleeping, so it's fine. So that was really weird. But I just kind of blew it off because I could have just fallen asleep. But if I had fallen asleep, all those things that I just went over, make it very weird if I fell asleep. Like, I don't, doesn't make a lot of sense. But another thing I wanted to mention real quick, because I'm running out of time now, like, seriously. I've never had this problem before until I came back home and started to have, I guess, more than one alarms. And it's not just me. Come to find out, it's not just me, because the other day it happened to David. So now he can just totally shut up when I tell him that this is constantly happening, because this happens every single night. You're okay. Here. Here you go. Mama being loud. Mama being too loud. There you go. Anyways, so since being home, I have to pump, and well, I don't have to pump. I choose to pump every 2 hours or so. So just to first off to establish a milk supply, and then because it really hurts if I don't continue to do it every 2 hours, I start to hurt. So I set my alarms. First, it was on this guy, and I would set it for every 2 hours throughout the night. So it's really just like four alarms. And at first, it worked. It worked when I was at the Ronald McDonald house because she was in the NICU for about 2 weeks. So I stayed at the Ronald McDonald house and I did the same thing there. And I woke up every 2 hours with the help of my alarm, and they worked perfectly fine there. But when I came home, my alarm stopped working. And it wasn't just like, oh, I was sleeping through it. I wouldn't be surprised if I am sleeping through some of them. But then there were other times where I would be awake, like before the alarm would go off. And I would already have my stuff ready. And I would look. It would be 2 o'clock and my alarm was not going off. So I stopped using this one, and I stopped using the stock app that came with the phone, and I used a different app, and at first that was working fine, and then like the next night it's like, oh, it caught on that I was using a different app and it stopped working. So I went to my iPod and I started to use that instead. And at first that was working for like 2 days, and then it started doing the same thing. Sometimes it'll be more than one, sometimes it'll just be one alarm that doesn't go off, and then sometimes they'll all go off. It's just completely random, and I don't know why it's doing it because it's obviously not just like a phone problem. And it's because I used my iPod as well. And then the other night where it happened to David, he had to borrow my car because he has a truck and he can't have Skylar obviously in the truck until she's around 22 pounds because you can't have a rear facing car seat in a truck that he has. So he borrowed my car. He was supposed to come pick me up at 10 o'clock, and 10 o'clock comes around. I walk outside of my building at work. He's not there. So I text him and go, hi, where are you? And he goes, oh, shit, my alarm clock didn't go off. And I swear, I set my alarm. I set it at 9:30, so it should have gone off. And I was like, well, I understand how you feel because I set my alarms all the damn time and I don't sleep through them. They just don't go off. Okay, buddy? So I understand. So he has to believe me in that respect now because it happened to him and it happens to me every single night, and I'm not just sleeping through them. I'm not just turning snooze off, or I'm not just turning it off because I have to literally wake up for some of my alarms to like I had a math problem where you do a math problem and stuff like that to turn off the alarms. They are simply not going off. I don't know what it is. And it's for him, it's for this phone, it's for that phone, it's probably for flipping anything that I try to set an alarm for. I'm pretty sure if I set like the alarm for my flipping oven, it wouldn't go off or something at this point. Probably. I don't know. It's very infuriating because it throws my schedule off and it makes me engorged because my pain has to wake me up now. So I don't like it. It's very frustrating. So far that is all that has been going on since my last video. I do intend on, I guess, going into detail about what happened with January and possibly what happened at the hospital, but nothing paranormal happened at the hospital. It's just hospital crap that happened at the hospital. So unless you guys are interested in that, and then I'm not really going to worry about it. But it's going to be a while before I have my January video up because even it was very difficult even just to do this video. I had to like stop it 3 billion trillion times, and then I know I still have to go and edit it, so it's still going to be a couple of days before I even post it up. I'm too busy. I'm too overwhelmed. I can't do this one extra thing. Sorry, guys. I try, but I can't. I can't even bother to look pretty. It's not your fault, honey. You're cute. She's just too distracting. I'd much rather spend my time with her than do housework. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will try to keep you guys updated. But if I have to, and you guys, like, if I really feel like I need to put something out there, it's not going to be clean. It's not going to look pretty. It's just probably going to be from my phone, and it's just going to be uploaded like that. And that's just how it's going to have to be, because I'm not spending 2 hours on editing and making stuff look pretty. I don't have time for that anymore. I'm a mommy. I don't have time for that anymore. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.